Disease to please. Disease to please can ruin your life. And people who stutter are not strangers to those feelings of self-consciousness, feeling as though you're not deserving. And I have to tell you that disease to please is like a virus, but it's not a virus as in coronavirus. It's mental program virus that is passed on from generation to generation. So if your mom felt she was undeserving of good life and she lacked confidence, you, regardless of how old you are now, you probably suffer with the same kind of issues, because parents can only give us what they themselves have. So I used to suffer from this. I would always compare myself to other people. I thought that they knew better. Somehow they knew better because they were experts, they were authority. They were older than me, they were more experienced than me. They are the role models, so I have to listen to them and just follow their advice all the time, in everything. How I spoke, how I dressed, how I felt, how I lived, everything was dictated by some imposed ideal standards of perfection, as it were. And this resulted in great pain and in great suffering. And the more I tried to kind of reach up to those standards, the more I suffered and the more I stuttered, and more painful my depression was as well, because at the age of 27 I have hit the rock bottom, and I was clinically depressed with suicidal thoughts and all that. So this was me chasing somebody's standards. And you know what happens when you try to when you chase somebody's standards, you suffer because those standards are not your own. You have never questioned yourself, what do you really want? What do you really want? How do you want to feel? How do you want to dress and speak? You are always referring back to those allegedly perfect standards. You are totally out of touch with yourself. And now I would like you to just ask yourself, is it a surprise that you stuttered? Is it a surprise really? Or is it natural, perfectly understandable in my view? And I would like to share with you, how did I manage to extinguish it? Well, the first thing that I did was I stopped comparing myself to other people. I understood that their formula of success, their standards of happiness, these are only theirs. I cannot apply them to my own life. I can get some tips. I can get some little tips from them. But I would always have to adapt everything they say, everything they advise, to my own personal standards of success and happiness. So comparing and copying other people pointless, and it only leads to unhappiness, frustration, and depression. Period. The second thing I ask myself, how do I really want to feel? What is happiness to me? How do I see happiness? How is my version of happiness expressed? And I just started to kind of get in touch with my own feelings, asking very deeply, and just listening, not intellectualizing. I didn't use logic, because logic doesn't work. I started to listen to my feelings. And when I learned this language of feelings, only then I began to climb out of this pit of misery where I lived for so many years, like since I was teen. Only then I have developed my own formula of success, my own standards of happiness, and only then I have become happy, and my speech improved dramatically. Until now, these days, I teach, I speak, I interview, and I don't stutter. And in fact, I stopped thinking about my speech altogether. And the final point is that as long as you follow other people's standards, as long as you try to precisely copy everything, you will remain forever unhappy, poor, depressed, unhealthy, and frustrated. Miserable life. Copying and emulating other people, this is a perfect recipe for disaster. Ask yourself, how do you want your life to be? Just focus and concentrate and feel the answers. Don't think the answers, feel the answers. They will come, believe me, they will come. This practice is best done when you are on your own, calm, no noise in the room, just calm place to contemplate, to listen to your feelings, the language of feelings. This is something that we all need to learn to return to in order to be fluent, in order to be expressive, in order to be happy, and in order to be true to ourselves.